Hey metalheads, welcome to another episode of Metal Academics. Who's the band we're listening to today?
Primal Fear from Germany.
Primal Fear. I know of them from Pandora in my early days of listening to metal, but they never actually stuck with me. So I know the album art, but I don't actually know really their songs too much.
I think they're very famous for being quite consistent with their Metal Eagle album covers. They're pretty, I mean, they have one or two divergent illustrations, but you would immediately recognize a new record by Primal Fear by looking at the album cover by pretty consistent German designer Stefan Lohrmann. But that's not maybe the best thing about Primal Fear. Primal Fear has been maybe described in short as a combination between Accept and Judas Priest.
Okay, I like both of them, so
it should be primed for success. They are quite an old and reputable band, founded in 1998 in Stuttgart. That's their hometown, at least at the moment, by the main man Ralf Scheepers, who is the lead vocal, and the bass player Matt Sinna, who is bass player but also producer. So this is the duo behind the Primal Fear original setup, and I think one thing we could already prime in everyone to say is, like, if other bands, we do a chronology, like pick 3 songs, different albums, how they evolve. One thing we can say about Primal Fear, they haven't changed at all, which is pretty amazing, again, being founded in 1998. So what I invite everyone to listen to is not necessarily a huge variation, but on the contrary, the sameness and the consistency. Exactly. Of course, if you were to do an album review, you would have the chance to go into the intricacies. Like they really construct their albums quite cleverly with some very, very fast, almost speed metal, almost thrash metal tunes, then some mid-tempo, almost ballad-like, but I think altogether the things we're going to listen to just provide this kind of consistency that means basically German quality. What you'd expect from a Mercedes or from a Sennheiser
Well, it's interesting because German bands for me are definitely hit or miss. Not a Halloween fan, but do like Accept.
So we'll see. This is, again, it's an interesting combination. That's why I think maybe you like it, because of this Judas Priest element. The first 3, maybe even 4 albums have been maybe most under the sign of Judas Priest, and you could hear in the names like Chainbreaker and so on. Like
also the Screaming Eagle.
The Screaming.
Right? From Screaming for Vengeance.
Exactly, and some of the covers also inspired, like the Electric Eye. Anyway, so there's lots of commonalities there, and the most obvious commonality is Ralf Scheepers' voice. So I'm not going to say anything else, then pay attention to the voice. And the first song we're going to listen to is from Nuclear Fire, and it's called Nuclear Fire. It's from the 3rd album issued in 2001, and is my favorite album from the early phase, if you want, the early years, the most Judas Priest phase in Primal Fear's discography. So Nuclear Fire, who's also a concert favorite. I think this has been on the playlist or the set list of numerous concerts, and we're gonna see a live version of the Nuclear Fire song. Again, you can find it consistently at Wacken. I think this one is from 2013.
All right.
So, Nuclear Fire.
We need your hands in the air. Come on.
that was Nuclear Fire from Nuclear Fire, so easy to remember. So pretty intense.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the singer. There are a few points when he goes high like Halford, and I'd like to see more of that. But we'll
hear some more, because this is the impressive part that he could go both. He can sing both normal voice, but he can go very high. And I think I was reading about it. It wasn't just my impression. He covers 4 octaves, which is quite an immense range for a rock singer that uses his voice very often, and also for somebody who is not in his prime youth. Ralf started Primal Fear when he was 33 years old. So he didn't start it as an...
So how old is he now?
We'll hear... I'm getting ahead of myself.
Guns.
You shall see. The guy only gets better with age. One can hope to be like Ralf. Be like Ralf if you grow up. This is pretty cool. Anyway, so that was, again, them in the old days, composition-wise. And again, you can definitely feel comfortable to bring the old album songs into current concerts. They were supposed to be on tour right now, and I was checking their set list for current tours, and I think they will be on the road also next year, or basically instead of this year in 2021. And Nuclear Fire was still on the concert list so many years after, which means that they have staying power, and I really like it. But we're moving on to the next song. Again, we only can feature 3, so I was very, very hard pushed to choose the second song, and it's from an album that I think is the best album, and maybe again getting a little ahead of myself, since they just released that was the end of July 24th, their latest 13th album. But the album that I'm talking about is called Delivering the Black. It is issued in 2014, and I basically love every single song on Delivering the Black. I think it's the perfect album for Primal Fear lovers. Of course, you may like some other ones. I think in terms of popular success, Unbreakable was the album that really propulsed them into the charts, and so on and so forth. But I like this one from 2012 and 2014, excuse me. And the reason why I like it is probably not because they changed anything so much in the composition of the band, but because they changed the producer. Since 2014, they record their music most often, like there are 1 or 2 exceptions, but most often at a studio in Denmark. And the producer is Matt Sinha, the blonde guy on the bass, but the sound engineer is Jacob Hansen, who is the same guy who produced some of the best bands that we like. For example, Tyr, for example, Amaranth, and I'm not gonna even give all the full list, but he is definitely, he has a studio and he has a perfect sound, or the sound that really speaks to me. So from Delivering the Black, I think it's basically pumping up Primal Fear's sound in very good ways.
So what's the song?
The song we're gonna listen to. I wanted to give everybody a think, which one is gonna pick, because I think most Primal Fear lovers know this album quite well. And the one that I like is called Rebel Faction, and it doesn't have a video. It has not been played live, so I couldn't find any kind of, or at least I couldn't find a recording of it. But it's super fast. And it's more Accept. If you were to think of the 2 combinations, Judas and Accept, to me, this is more Accept. So, and since I love Accept, this definitely was something that I really enjoyed. So, Rebel Faction, short, sweet, and fast.
Let's check it out.
the drums.
Yeah.
Randy Black, I think is the guy's name, the drummer that's been most of the time with Primal Fear, and I think from 2014 onwards you can actually hear even better the drums.
Reminded me of you were saying Accept and Judas
thought of?
Priest. I thought more Gravedigger.
Gravedigger, yeah.
Vocally, when he was singing more not when he's obviously doing the high notes, but the kind of bass.
I think, obviously it's that kind of school. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like whatever I was listening to maybe before. But you recognize this is speed metal. This is solid drum kit going on, very clean and heavy drums, which I love. Two lead guitars, basically taking it on from one another, including a Swede, like a little nationalistic. But I have to say, one of the lead guitars since 2007 is Magnus Carlsson, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. So anyway, yes, that's kind of what I really like, this type of songs. But it's not only this type of songs that they play. I think most people would think of Primal Fear as the home of the metal anthem. And this is usually not what my favorite genre is. This really epic, dramatic, a little bit syrupy. It's not my cup of tea.
Type.
No, they're never really, very little I would say ballad, but mid-tempo. So for them it's ballad, but for most other bands it's like mid-tempo. But a little bit of love, a little bit of loss, a little bit of these type of things. I think their most famous, most played song from their most commercially successful album, Rule Breaker, is The End Is Near, and that's a typical anthem. Another very famous one is Metal Is Forever, as the name says, is that type of show you'd get. Some other ones, When Death Comes Knocking. And on the latest album, the one that has just been released, Infinity, it's 13 minutes long. It has everything from synth and clocks and picket guitar and screams and everything all in one. Definitely epic. But to be very honest, it's just not my cup of tea. And this is why the last song, which is going to be from Metal Commando, the latest album, is not going to be Infinity, because to me it seemed like it's infinitely long. Sorry. I know there are lots of people who really will disagree with me, but that's just where I come from. So instead, my favorite song doesn't have, let me say like this, my favorite song doesn't have a video, and my second favorite song doesn't have a video. So we're not going to listen to Halo, we're not going to listen to My Name Is Fear either. But we're going to listen to one of the singles that has been released from the album with a video, and it's called Along Came the Devil. And it's a song actually about the band, about how they basically stuck together since 1998 and how they made music and how they're like a happy, sometimes not so happy, but definitely a kind of musical family. And this is something that Ralf Scheepers also said in several interviews, that he likes that. Yeah. So Along Came the Devil, and it's an official lyric video from Napalm Records with some insights with the band as well. So we'll see them play. Along Came the Devil, 2020. came the devil.
Yeah. If I walked into a bar and Primal Fear was playing, I think it's a cool bar, but I'm not in love with it. Not totally. I don't know why. Maybe
Again, it's only like 3. It's hard to fall in love with something just at the first 3 songs. I think this is a band you could listen to album after album. Like you could just have it on play, and you can do things. You can drive. You can, have dinner, whatever. It's not boring, and it's cool. The way they craft their album is with some variation. Again, some really speedy ones, some soft ones. There is even a ballad, a proper ballad on this album. For those who like ballads, definitely a classic, you would say. So I think it's definitely very, very listenable. You can pick almost, out of the 13, you can pick 10 albums and just put it on play, and it will just be enjoyable. Yeah. Maybe you're not gonna stop always on your feet, say, "Oh my God, let me stop everything I want to do and listen to this in detail." But some songs are like this, I think, and otherwise they're just consistently very good.
Well, I'll put them on when I have my pot roast tonight.
Yeah, exactly. See how it's like, watch out, we'll get burned with all this energy. Anyway, so that was Primal Fear, a band with, again, 13 albums behind their back and so many concerts and tours. Again, hard to pick, but again, consistency is key, and solid, good guitar and fantastic vocals from the band leader, Ralf.
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely impressed by the higher octaves.
Yes, he can still do it. By the way, he competed with Tim the Ripper Owens to become the new Judas Priest in 1997, 1988. Tim beat him to it, and then he went and found his own band, Primal Fear.
But who can bench press more?
Oh my God! Is there a question? Please show me another lead singer who has better guns or bigger guns than this
Eric Adams, Manowar.
We could do, back in the day. This guy's 55.
Let's do that. Video of largest biceps. Who is the most jacked metal singer of relatively well-known bands?
Yeah.
Put it to you guys.
Exactly. I think he has a pretty fair shot to be number one. Which means that he takes care of himself and takes care of his voice. 55 years old to do this, no matter how many, fine-tuning, post-processing stuff.
What is his gym playlist? Does he listen to himself?
I have no idea. I think he maybe has some interviews that I haven't uncovered in which he talks more about this.
Let's tweet him. Let's try to figure it out.
I would like to have a beer with these guys. If the chance would ever appear, I definitely am up to buy them a beer and hear the stories from all these
How the
tours.
devil came along
and they stood on the ground. Anyway, we're babbling. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have other songs that are favorites, let me know. If you think that I missed including some of the anthem-like, you can also say so. And maybe recommend Michael one other song or two that would really make him
I'm open to
stop everything and listen to it. But otherwise, in the meantime,
may your sword stay sharp.
And your quest end in glory.